There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena.
All Lives Matter, Trump 2024.
The WAS system has been activated. The Waldo alert system has been activated. Stand by for an official broadcast from Waldo himself. Stand by.
But also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement.
Untruthful, I should say. And Tony Fauci isn't the only one who's been caught lying.
But also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Agenda. Dr. Fauci is on the Leadership Council for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In January of 2017, Anthony Fauci told a crowd at Georgetown University that there would be a surprise outbreak during the Trump presidency.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak. There will be a surprise outbreak.
Coincidence or conspiracy? How did he know in 2017 what was going to happen at the end of President Trump's first term? Interesting. Let's continue. Here's something to think about. He says at the end of the first term of Trump. Why didn't he say the beginning or the middle? How did he know it was going to be at the end? Think about it. Chew on that for a minute.
Video you'll ever see. Now, in 2017, Tony Fauci authorized another grant in Wuhan. This time he funded, quote, cell entry studies, three newly identified SARS coronaviruses. Now,
among the more than 900 pages which were released, it includes 2 previously unpublished grant proposals as well as project updates related to EcoHealth Alliance's research. Both of those grants, by the way, were paid for by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is, of course, the department of the NIH run by Dr. Anthony Fauci. Now, one of these grants that was awarded to EcoHealth Alliance was titled Understanding the Risk of Bad Coronavirus Emergence, and it was in the amount of just under $666,000. And that particular grant, it outlined Peter Daszak's rather ambitious plan to, quote, investigate the ecology, evolutionary biology, and transmission dynamics of bad coronaviruses at the human-wildlife interface. The proposal then goes on to outline specifically how the EcoHealth Alliance is going to conduct this research. And as you're listening to it, remember once again that this is taxpayer-funded research, meaning that ultimately you and I are the ones paying for it. Here's specifically what it says. Quote, we will conduct field studies in China to obtain high-quality samples from bats and identify, characterize, and isolate known and novel coronavirus. We will analyze the patterns of coronavirus transmission among bats and other wildlife and the risk of spillover to humans. Now, prior to the year 2020, because even before the pandemic, many scientists were concerned about the potential dangers associated with the types of experiments that were being conducted over in China. Experiments that we now know were, at least in part, funded by American tax dollars, from your and my tax dollars, via grants from Dr. Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Now, following the release of this treasure trove of documents, the best contextualization of these findings that I was able to find came from Dr. Richard Ebright, who is a molecular biologist over at Rutgers University, and he actually earned his PhD in molecular genetics from Harvard. And here's what he wrote in response to these new documents. The materials confirm the grant supported the construction in Wuhan of novel chimeric SARS-related coronaviruses that combined a spike gene from one coronavirus with genetic information from another coronavirus and confirmed the resulting viruses could infect human cells. Then, in terms of infecting human cells, he further summarized the types of experiments that they were running. The materials reveal that the resulting novel laboratory-generated SARS-related coronaviruses also could infect mice engineered to display human receptors on cells, or in other words, humanized mice. And then he said that for the first time, these documents reveal the fact that the resulting virus was more pathogenic than the original virus. Here's what it says. The materials further reveal, for the first time, that one of the resulting novel laboratory-generated SARS-related coronaviruses, one not been previously disclosed publicly, was more pathogenic to humanized mice than the starting virus from which it was constructed. And thus, not only was reasonably anticipated to exhibit enhanced pathogenicity, but indeed was demonstrated to exhibit enhanced pathogenicity. He then went on to further outline another novel finding from this 900-page treasure trove of documents. Here's what he said. The materials further reveal that the grants also supported the construction in Wuhan of novel chimeric MERS-related coronaviruses that combine spike genes from one MERS-related coronavirus with genetic information from another MERS-related coronavirus. And then, to sum it all up, he said that these newly released documents show that the assertions that were being publicly made by our government officials, at least in his estimation, they were not true. Here's what he said. The documents make it clear that the assertions by the NIH director, Francis Collins, and the NIAID director, Anthony Fauci, that the NIH did not support gain-of-function research or potential pandemic pathogen enhancement at the Wuhan Institute of Virology are untruthful.
Now, just hours ago, hundreds of pages of documents from inside Tony Fauci's agency, the National Institute of Health, were published by the news outlet The Intercept. They confirm that, get this, Tony Fauci's NIH funded what's known as gain-of-function research. There's that term again. In Wuhan, there's that city again. Gain-of-function research includes any research that makes viruses more transmissible and more deadly. According to the documents obtained by The Intercept, the NIH was specifically funding gain-of-function research to spike the genes from one coronavirus with the genetic information from other coronaviruses in the process. The documents reveal the researchers created a new, more potent virus that could easily infect humans. What could go wrong? Gary Ruskin, the executive director of the group, U.S. Right to Know, says the documents are, quote, a roadmap to the high-risk research that could have led to the current pandemic, close quote. That research includes a 2014 project funded by the NIH for bat coronaviruses research in Wuhan. The project was led by virologist named Peter Daszak. There's that name again. The president of the group, Echo Health Alliance. And the grant from the NIH authorized Peter Daszak and Echo Health Alliance to conduct, quote, virus infection experiments across a range of cell cultures from different species and humanized mice. We've known about that grant for months now, but the new internal NIH documents obtained by The Intercept expose exactly what went on during those virus infection experiments on the mice. According to Richard Ebright, he's a professor of chemical biology at Rutgers University, quote here, the materials reveal for the first time that one of the resulting novel laboratory-generated SARS-related coronaviruses was more pathogenic to humanized mice than the starting virus from which it was constructed. Uh-oh. In other words, the NIH was sending taxpayer funds to, there's that guy again, Peter Daszak, to make coronaviruses more dangerous. Remember, as recently as December of 2019, just before the pandemic began, Peter Daszak was bragging about how easy it is to manipulate the coronavirus.
Coronaviruses are pretty good. I mean, you're a virologist, you know all this stuff, but you can manipulate them in the lab pretty easily. This spike protein drives a lot of what happens with the coronavirus, zoonotic risk. So you can get the sequence, you can build the protein, and we work with Ralph Barrick at UNC to do this. Insert it into a backbone of another virus, and do some work in the lab.
Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans. Right. You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly.
It now appears that Tony Fauci was lying under oath. According to Richard Ebright, quote, the documents make it clear that assertions by the NHS director, Francis Collins, and Anthony Fauci that the NIH did not support gain-of-function research of potential pandemic pathogen enhancement and the Wuhan.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena. There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that.